Hello everyone. Welcome to Zelda Speedruns. Today we're bringing you another match out of our Season 4 OTR tournament between Namaha and SeYsEy. To bring you all the action, we have our two comms, Jimbo69 and Yoshi Kion. How are you two?
Hello. Pretty good.
I'm pretty good. I'm glad to learn more about OOTR today. I'm a relatively new player myself. Surprised they let me in on comms.
I swear to God.
Okay, I'll drop the act.
I think this is like I'm actually really excited for this one. I think this is looking through the first round matches. I think this is one of the ones that could like the players are really different to each other and also really similar in like general skill level and stuff. So I'm excited for this.
This is gonna be such a great match. I looked at this match in the brackets. I'm like, wow. Like Namaha, like he's been a veteran for a while. I'd call him a veteran, and he knows so much of this like new tech with like skipping like hookless spirit and hookless shadow. And SeYsEy has just like he's improved so much over the last year. Like this should be really, really, really fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Hoping so. I mean, you gotta support your dad a little bit, right?
Yeah, but you know, you got to call it down the middle. But in my brain, I'm definitely very, very biased.
But I will leave it at that. Hope everyone enjoys the match.
All
So
right,
you have, like-
sorry to start. Yeah.
Yeah, Saria's start is always not really
Not
a
so
great
great.
one. No. I was gonna say, like, touch on like the fact that these two players are, pretty different to each other. In their words, not ours so much. Like, when they were asked their strengths, Namaha was like, "I think I'm really good at routing," and SeYsEy's like, my best strength is my execution." Like, okay then.
Interesting
Ooh.
spawn point.
Good. Yeah, cool one.
SeYsEy?
Oh, okay. So yeah, that's
Alright,
a cool start point because it's like, do you go to Kokiri Forest? Do you go London Ranch?
Looks like SeYsEy's going to market.
Yeah.
This is really interesting, actually. So SeYsEy, honestly, he could just be doing this to jump the chains for money.
Mm-hmm.
Namaha's going to Kokiri Forest is fine because you have time of day to get to Lanlan after. Like you do Mido's house, go up and get the song. Even if you have to walk out, you have time of day to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what SeYsEy does here. Yeah, it looks like he's just jumping the chains, which is fine. He can do Lanlan into Valley Lake now without having to worry about rupees.
Mm-hmm. So I'm curious to see like how much they rush. So obviously the divergence early is like, what songs do they get? There are tiny things that can already swing this massively. If one of these is Minuet, like if SeYsEy gets Minuet in London, that's a huge gain already just by not having to walk over to Kokiri Forest.
Yeah. And then if that doubles into something like Nocturne or something, they can route through Skull Mask. They don't have to worry less about time of day. Because they spent less time walking through Hyrule Field as a result. Mido's Bomb Factory has no bombs today.
Mido's is a whole lot of nothing.
Nice scale on Talon. That's really, really good for SeYsEy. I highly suspect he's going to do Valley Lake through Domain River here.
Oh yeah, that's... Scale is one of those items you definitely want to see in that early Valley Lake. Like, you want scale or explosives so that you can kind of extend it a bit further.
Yeah, and then you could just take the Lost Wood shortcut to Kokiri Forest instead of having to walk through field to get there.
Mm-hmm.
Namaha picked up a Market Way the hero in Kokiri.
Damn, we didn't see SeYsEy rush the Oh, sorry, I was going to say about the SeYsEy going to the Sling game. We didn't get that on the way through, but then Namaha getting the frog.
Frog War, baby! He's known for it. Ah, Vigoron's dead.
Right, so now is the perfect opportunity to reset away the frog
And save it for
pick it
later.
up when you need it. Might be a bit out of the way to get over there on Skull Kid, but you know.
Oh, this is actually super smart. SeYsEy is gonna save warp here and go upriver through the Kokiri Forest with that scale. Oh, okay, he's just gonna go to
No?
the front. That's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. I thought SeYsEy was about the huge brain, but this is still a safe call.
No explosives to go up.
Oh, that's right. The rocks are in the way. I'm an idiot. First time.
I'm surprised that
7 races.
I'm a little surprised at like the no Valley Lake stuff though, because like that's one of the biggest things that kind of came up, and I guess this could be a difference between like Quals and Bracket. This was one of the big things that came up in Quals a lot. Is people are really thorough. People are like clearing out Sphere Zero pretty regularly, so it's interesting to see SeYsEy, you know, in a pretty good position to go and do that, and then extend that early Sphere Zero into a lot of, well, actually just save quit and walk off instead. And kind of leave that behind.
Yeah, it's an interesting choice for sure. Maybe SeYsEy has decided in the early game that they want to prioritize songs, which is a valid strategy.
Yeah, definitely. Like, yeah, if you want to prioritize your early game checks, knowing what's in the early game by way of songs is a good way to do that. Right? Probably a starting point there.
So SeYsEy has a bit of a routing advantage here in that he's not, like, if this leads to like a dead end song like Suns or whatever that you can't warp with, SeYsEy has the advantage of being able to take the scale out of the Lost Wood shortcut.
Right, yeah. Makes sense. Which I guess is quite nice anyway, just being able to check River this early is, if
Especially
nothing
when
else,
it's in
potentially
logic.
a bit of information. Well, it is a warp song, but it is also a dead end one.
Yeah. Forty's a stick. Not going to be grabbing that today. Two more hints up here. Let's see what our runners are going to be working with.
Death of Mountain Crater. So that Rush songs, you just got given Bolero.
Yep. Alright, so Namaha's going to save warp here. That's probably his fastest way to move forward. He ends up right in front of River. So yeah, that Bolero you get from Child SFM, you can go grab that song immediately upon going adult.
So, like, it's probably, I guess maybe it's a little early to call what it's probably going to be, but the big three for Hinted Way the Hero, right? Requiem, Nocturne, Storms. This early, Nocturne is good for movement, but not much else. Requiem is probably the big one, mostly because it chains into another song.
Yeah.
And Storms is kind of difficult to route in much with at the moment.
Yeah, especially without ZL currently. But I mean, chances are they'll just run into ZL at some point.
Right. Well, we know it won't be in the crater now. I like that.
Yeah,
Um,
hint changes with Season 4.
Oh,
ZL
God.
can no longer
Okay.
be directly hinted way of the hero.
I guess it could be in the crater, and then something else would be as well, but...
Yeah, but you'd know.
Yeah, and you
know
tend to
for
assume it's... If you get away the hero pointing to a song location, it's probably the song, most of the time anyway. Also, to the point of dinner chat, actually, I do like the idea. I don't know about necessarily planting the bean, but at least going there as child to look at the item and check if you need to plant the bean.
Yeah, it's in logic very, very early, and that could be important if it's something like your only explosives or the hammer or even like the Kokiri sword.
And if you do that out of river, like, what do you lose? You go there, you save quit, you end up back at the entrance of river.
Yeah, exactly. So I suspect Namaha is just gonna go adult after this.
Right, yeah, makes sense. Get that early Kakariko out of the way, get the other song there. It's probably the big one, but...
Yeah, I was thinking about Valley Lake as well. I'm not sure... I've never timed the time of day in this particular situation, because obviously they had a river spawn, so they had to kill some time of day immediately. If Namaha knows for sure he can make it, then yeah. But I'm just not personally sure. If I was in this situation, I would probably just go adult, just to make absolutely sure my time of day is gonna work.
If nothing else...
Ooh.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna say, if nothing else, like... The time of day from Lon Lon is perfect already. As long as it's still day, like, worst case, you can catch in it pretty much any time. Valley Lake from here is potentially risky. You could grab the hints if you wanted to, but, like, ugh. No. Oh, Lake. Oh,
that's
looking
good
a lot
for...
better.
Yeah, it's good for both of our runners, because SeYsEy can route that in pretty easily with his scale. And Namaha is already on his way there, so... And there were chews on Upper River.
Yeah,
so
SeYsEy grabbing...
that... Yeah.
I guess Namaha's going to do the same thing, right? Namaha is not going to do Valley Lake without dipping into Domain and River. I'd imagine
probably.
at this point. So they'll probably both end up with those chews, and then it'll be a question of how good are they at save scumming them? How good are they at, you know, what checks do they choose to check with them?
Or you could just find a bomb bag immediately after getting them in the grotto.
All that, as always. Yeah.
So it's interesting. I was thinking about the time of day for Namaha here. He can choose to go down river, but what he could do is if his time of day is like really bad, he can potentially scum. I mean, he could be thinking to scum the river if time of day is bad. Oh, there's fire arrows.
Only fire arrows on its own isn't the worst thing. Like, I feel like fire arrows are one of those items that you don't mind finding early, but you don't want them ever hinted. Like, the second you see fire arrows hinted, firstly, if you get the hint late, you're like, oh god, what did I even find there? Because you don't take note of fire arrows. But having the fire access early is nice, and as long as it doesn't lock dins, you're good.
Yeah. We've got Graveyard Way the Hero on Namaha's end in Gerudo Valley, and Boomerang in Sphere Zero Grotto in Zora's River.
Yeah, not a bomb bag. But, not quite as good, but I guess.
You know, if job moves required, that's pretty good.
So we got a hint for 30 skulls being dead, and we've already seen one for 40 being dead. I don't think we've seen a 50 yet. So
Namaha just saw a 50, actually.
Oh, was that just that?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Just in Lake.
Just I went to make the notes. Cool.
Yep.
So, in that case, like, that's an interesting one, because that is the big thing that an early boomerang tends to point you to is skulls, like first and foremost. And otherwise it doesn't do much. And talking of items that don't do much in the early game, Namaha
He's
finding
got
magic
fire
in late.
arrows. He's got fire
no
arrows.
bow.
So... Yeah, but you know, there's 3 of
It's
those.
soon, yeah.
When does
No,
one bow ever lock the other 2, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Never, right? Yeah. Also, didn't mention it, but Graveyard Way of the Hero was the 4th one. We have all 4 Way of the Heroes already, which is good information, I guess.
Early
Never check.
information.
Yeah, just... I guess maybe you want to grab a foolish hint somewhere as well, but that's it. Like, you're probably just about done checking hints otherwise at this point.
Alright, let's see what else is in Child Lake here. You got magic already. Just a bloopy. What a scam.
And yeah, we are just... It looks like Namaha going over towards the main here, so we're just going to see them kind of loop over, cross paths.
Yeah, this makes sense. This is definitely... You want to be more thorough if you start as child, if you can be. That way you're not missing anything for adult.
Right, yeah, more items. There are more items that impact your adult routing than your child routing, I think. So yeah, you don't want to come back for a while if you can avoid it. Oh, SeYsEy bought 2 beans. Yeah, Namaha hasn't done that. Oh.
Wow.
Okay, then.
That's why you be more thorough with your child. Alright, well that's important. Well, I mean, the bean planting in Lake... yeah, it's not gonna...
Yeah, maybe not.
But...
Got the beans just in case.
He can get this magic, though.
There's the beans are 1 for the crater and 1 for, well, I guess it could be Graveyard or Colossus,
Or
at this point
Colossus,
still.
yeah. Having an extra beam when you don't know... It's good.
Oh, did SeYsEy buy 3? Oh, in that case...
I went to write notes when he bought them.
Perfect. Don't need anything else then. Oh right, yeah, they have Rang. Okay. I'm doing that thing where like, oh, Rang is useless, it doesn't unlock anything, and forget about it entirely.
Yeah, that little crate trick. I forget about it all the time. I always buy beans with Rang. SeYsEy didn't have the Rang when he bought his beans, but... Alright, so both our runners kind of just like retracing each other's steps in the early game. It's fine, it's good, efficient early routing. We'll see if there's any divergence in the adult section. SeYsEy's gonna go do Hyrule Fields here.
Interesting. Safe's going to choose for it. Makes sense.
Yeah. This is fine. With his routing, it makes sense.
And it's like, right now this is looking like a very front-loaded seed. You know, couple of, maybe not the most relevant items ever, you know, magic, boomerang, fire arrows, scale, but early hookshot is amazing. Having the explosives, even if they're not in logic, is really good. So there's a decent chance that it's like, this is going to be a seed where just you get handed most of your items kind of quickly and then have to hunt around for these. Oh my.
Wow.
What was it you said earlier? You'll get a bomb bag in your first check you do
Yeah.
with choose? That was what you
First
said, right?
choose.
Okay,
It's the bomb
okay,
bag.
cool. Yep, cool. Because why wouldn't it be?
Yeah, that is really good for SeYsEy.
Oh, wow. Yeah, Namaha's going to have to be a little bit cautious with the choose. You can get away with 10 choose for quite a long time, but it's kind of costly to do it. You're still save quitting and resetting pretty regularly.
Yeah, SeYsEy can just clear Hyrule Field with his newly acquired bombs to kill time of day. He has plenty of options, to be honest. Yes, Flamingo, that bomb bag is currently out of logic. Namaha's got his rang now.
So yeah, presumably another bomb bag somewhere, maybe the hammer to open up that one. The only way that would be bad, I think, for SeYsEy is if he goes and chases one of the Way of the Heroes and it just leads to the first bomb bag. But the odds of that happening are pretty low.
SeYsEy is gonna do Valley to fix his time of day, so we're gonna be almost tied. Where's Namaha going here? Oh, he's going to get the choose. That's right.
Do you ever go back into domain to go to lake to go to market at that point then, or do you?
It's an option for Namaha. He's got fresh time of day.
Lost Woods with the choose is also an option there, but
He's gonna play Bolero to check the top of the crater, which is smart here. He just bought beans and Crater's Way of the Hero.
Like we say, you lose almost nothing for doing this. Yeah, well, nothing
you
there.
can peek the wall.
And I have no idea what that was.
I've got VC eyes. I can't see it.
It looked vaguely brown, which means it could be a Deku Shield, a Deku Nut, it could be a bomb bag, a wallet, like almost anything.
You could kind of see it, so it's not a bow. Yeah, there's no real reason for Namaha to plant the bean there. He's got the hook shot. I don't remember, I didn't see how many beans Namaha bought, but if it's 2 or less, it's probably better for him to just not plant it. Just in case he needs the other 2.
You need 1 for Colossus, but you, at this point, wouldn't need any of the others, right?
With the boomerang, yeah, but if he's a squirrel like me, he'll probably
Right.
forget he can get
Same.
the box with the ring.
Right, which I'm only remembering because it came up in chat earlier, so... Yeah, I'm not much better in that regard, I guess.
Namaha did list his biggest weakness as his forgetfulness. So I wouldn't put it past him.
See, is this where you learned it from?
So Namaha's gonna check market here. He's got pretty early on the time of day, so Richard isn't really a good option for him right now, but he can do Slingshot Game in our Way of the Hero market.
SeYsEy's going to be able to grab Bombshoe Bowling on the way through as well, which will be pretty big information. Like, that could push that, like, advantage pretty heavily, yeah.
Just have to wait and see. It's currently not in logic, but could net him something like Kokiri Sword maybe, or maybe Ruda's Letter for Jabu.
Yeah, I guess what would be the big things right now? You're kind of looking for... I mean, if you got Kokiri Sword, would you just not go adult yet? Would you just save quit?
I think Deku would be a good option there. Tunic! Oh no!
No way, right? No way.
No way! Early Bolero. tunic in a way of the hero location.
No way.
Alright, 4 hints, rapid fire. Minuet OT, Big Boy's got nothing. 1500's got nothing. And Graveyard Way the hero again.
I love the idea that you see OT Minuet. My first thought was just like, oh, what does that say about like the logic for Forest Temple? It's like, oh, they started with Sarias. Never mind.
Door number 1 has nothing for SeYsEy. How about door number 2? Nothing!
No! Swing and a miss.
I mean, it's still good that he has the bomb bag.
Right,
That's still gonna
right,
be really helpful for him. Just no immediate payout today.
right. There are, what is it, 6 checks in market total? SeYsEy gets to check half of them, while Namaha got to do 1.
Yeah. Forest, Fire, DC, Deku, Starting Medallion. I didn't see what the Light Medallion was. DC being required is definitely good. Even for Namaha, who's only working with 9 shoes here.
Mm. Right, like, either way round, DC with shoes is still an incredible play, because you can just go in, do all of the checks, and then just save if you find something useful, reset it all the way if you don't, and just do the choose setup to do the whole dungeon with, what, 5 bomb shoes total?
I think it's 4 if you scum everything.
I was thinking 2 for the eyes, 1 to open the Dodongo room, and then 2 to fight King Dodongo.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. Yeah, this is a pretty solid layout for medallions, actually.
Yeah, yeah. Like, all of your kind of awkward one-off items are just buried away in the stones. We don't worry about those. Except Kakiri's
Until
sword, I
they're
guess.
required.
But...
Still they're required. Namaha's got a bit of a lead on SeYsEy here in terms of just moving through the seed, but SeYsEy definitely has the stronger position with that bomb bag.
yeah, I think I agree, yeah. Yeah, you can see that Namaha is slightly further forward in what he's done, but...
Oh,
I
is
think
that
that was a
bomb
bomb bag. I think
Yeah,
that's... I think... Is that the way to hit? Is it actually first bomb bag?
Well, SeYsEy's got to wrestle with that now. He's just got Epona.
Pona's not a bad one to get. But yeah, that bomb bag is definitely not what SeYsEy wanted to see there, for sure. To put it lightly.
Yeah,
So
I
I think
think since... Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think the biggest difference here is that Namaha already walked here and looked. So it's possible that he's doing CAC to then finish up here knowing it's a bomb bag, in the hopes that he can get something like strength in DC, a bow, and like go over to forest from Death Mountain Crater, because he knows the bombs are there.
I mean, if he got a good look at it. You never know.
Right. I assume he wouldn't have left if he didn't, but I don't know. I've also
it just
definitely done the same, where you're like, it's either a bomb bag or a wallet, and whichever one it is, I'm going to pick it up anyway, so move on.
Yeah. It just seems kind of weird for him to... Like, he has the hook shot, and to not go get the bomb bag and be... What?!
Oh, I guess... Wait, no, hold up. No, hold on. We're the hero.
Good old Way of the Hero Graveyard. Dampé's got all the goods today.
It's just a song, right?
It's just the graveyard song.
Also, that was outside Ganon's castle, foolish. Yeah, which, yeah, not the most useful hint.
Yeah, we got stone water though. With we started with Saria, so there's no forest access shenanigans.
Oh, that long shot is all kinds of terrifying though. Like, okay, spirits are stone, water's a stone. You've just got Eponas on SeYsEy's side, so like, we know it's not for getting over to the Gerudo training grounds or like the Gerudo area. There is no good reason to have that long shot. There are lots of bad ones.
So maybe it is still the song in the graveyard. Namaha just got ZL.
Then when do you backtrack to? Oh my!
There's another bomb bag.
That is also locked by bombs or hammer. So actually, this is good information for SeYsEy. Weirdly, even though, you know, we're saying, oh, the early bombs. The only thing you don't want is one of your heroes to be a bomb bag. Haha! It looks like Crater might be a bomb bag. That would at least tell you that your hammer is bomb locked.
Yeah.
That's still like maybe half the game, but we'll ignore that part.
Potentially even more than half, depending on what else is bomb locked. Yeah, I don't think that Namaha saw whatever was in Crater. We assume it's a bomb bag, but I'm still not 100% sure. I don't think that they... If it is a bomb bag, I don't think that they saw it. Otherwise, I don't see why they would be in here without it.
No, I think this makes perfect sense without it. You know you've got the bombs there, so you know you can use the choose for DC. And then as soon as you finish DC, you play Bolero, do Crater, Goron City, and then go from there to the Minuet check. Like, yeah, if he's not scumming the choose, like he must have seen it, right? There's no way you do this and use up all of your choose if you don't know you're about to get bombed somewhere else.
Maybe he's a pro gamer and is just... I'm just gonna find a bomb bag. I don't really care.
Oh. Using up that tube might be costly.
I'm not even sure if it opened the door. Or, not door, mud wall. It did. Yeah, when you're doing that room, I find it's a lot easier to just blow up the mud wall first, because when the stairs are blowing up, it gets really wonky. Use a chew there. Do we not have a single Baron hint yet?
OGC. We have outside Ganon's castle.
I see, I see.
We have Baron check.
Very pertinent information there. At least they know DC's not going to be Baron. They got a slingshot.
Yeah, it's not always the most relevant item, but
Oh boy.
I guess it's at least something.
I wonder if Namaha thinks that they saved and is planning to scum choose.
No way, right?
He skipped skulls.
Uh-oh. Yeah, no, actually, I like skipping skulls. I was like, that's one of those like metagame calls that people do sometimes. You just like skip the skulls, hope that, you know, you got a lot of items early, you can save that time. Skulls are generally pretty slow, but yeah, the other option is, you know, you're going to lose them anyway, so. Oh, he did save when he entered?
Okay.
Oh.
I was about to say, that would be so strange. Yeah, he's got all his stuff.
Coming in with a raid.
Just gonna have to
Thank you.
blow the wall up again.
Yeah.
Hello, Raiders.
This is definitely one where, like, yeah, maybe he didn't see the bomb bag then. Maybe you're right about that one if he did save scum this, because I'm a little surprised. I'm a little surprised that he'd leave DMC without seeing what the item was. But again, I guess as long as you know, like, even if it was, like I said earlier, if you're like, it's either a bomb bag or a wallet, either way, it's good enough that I want to pick it up because it means more explosives no matter what.
Yeah, maybe he mistook it for something else. The seed so far has been pretty good for our runners. The SeYsEy got a bomb bag in field, but it's possible that Namaha is going to run into another one in Goron City Maze. And there might be a bomb bag in Crater, Way of the Hero as well. So there are multiple opportunities for Namaha to catch up on the explosive front. But mostly, our runners are in a very similar position right now. It's really tough to tell who has an edge right now.
Oh, did SeYsEy fall off the bridge? Oh, no.
I didn't see that.
Oh no. Definitely seen a number of races decided by things like that in the past, so well, it wasn't costly. It wasn't relevant, but it's something that will weigh on your mind. It is something that will absolutely weigh on your mind the entire way through the seed.
Namaha is showing us his Chu ground jump skills. Straight up Kobeing that Chu into KD's mouth.
Oh.
Oh,
yeah, I was gonna say, on the one hand, Namaha's fight looks better, but on the other hand, SeYsEy's is gonna be faster, and then I guess this is just more of that, I guess.
Yeah, having those bombs has really helped SeYsEy catch up. They're already ahead of Namaha when they came into DC afterwards. Like, both of our runners are playing really well in terms of execution, except for the small mistake for SeYsEy falling off the bridge. But for the most part, they've played really solid.
That's kind of the thing, is like, I feel like that happens to a lot of runners where their execution is incredibly good, and then when they do make mistakes, it's like a kind of big one. Namaha failed child shooting gallery, and like, that's a mistake that you see a lot of people do, but like, I feel like a lot of people coming in don't expect that from the top runners. Like, no, that will still happen, and sometimes there will be really costly mistakes, but
yeah,
their execution is so good outside of that that it's usually not gonna matter. The big mistakes are so rare anyway, and also like, everyone is gonna make mistakes, and that's not the part that decides the race usually.
Yeah. Namaha got 5 chews on King Dodongo, which is good for him, because it means that he can be a little bit more liberal with his chew usage and may check Goron Maze with a bomb bag in there, which will solve his explosive situation. He might just get the quote-unquote bomb bag in the crater wall.
I'm pretty sure it was a bomb bag. I might be wrong, but
I guess we're gonna get confirmation right now.
he did. Okay, whatever's in there, he did see it, because there's no way you just go straight up here if you didn't look at what was there.
Another interesting thing is that Namaha got ZL in the windmill and didn't go into
Oh wait,
The graveyard
he didn't.
to get the song.
No, he sorry, he didn't go and get the wall either. So if he did see it earlier, whatever it was, he thought it was dead.
We'll see.
Unless he goes back in now, but that slow, deliberate ZL, like. So even if the okay, I was gonna say even if the wall is a wallet, you kind of want to pick it up because it means you can buy more bomb shoes from the carpet salesman later. And then he opened more shoes, and it was like, oh well, okay, I guess.
SeYsEy's finally gonna buy a shield.
And heading over to the graveyard where we'll finally, I guess, see what that song is. So the other thing I was realizing is we still have that market way of the hero, which right now is Richard, Lens Game, or Big Pose. It wouldn't surprise me if it's Big Pose at this point, and the Crater way of the hero is just pointing to opponents for that.
Could still be the tunic.
Could also be the tunic.
Tunic
Somehow...
way the heroes were so hype.
Oh, it's so rare, but it's so funny to see like who manages to follow it, and that's one of those other things as well. Is like there's kind of one of those things that separates a lot of runners is who can follow that kind of thing and who can't. It's not something that comes up often, so it's not something everyone's really practiced at thinking about. Yeah, kind of like Safe Scumming Bomb Shoes actually is kind of the same in that regard. It comes up so rarely that when it's required, it really differentiates between runners. Like there are some that are amazing at it and some that will just throw them all out and then be like, wait, what do I do now?
I'm really interested to see what this graveyard song is, because if it's like, if it's Prelude, and we know like, okay, it's definitely an item in graveyard, that brings Sun Song Grave into question. It brings the long shot into question when we have access to Epona. Like, this can get very scary. Namaha is gonna run into a bomb bag here, so bailed out. SeYsEy collecting Danpei's buried treasure here.
So right now, the most likely thing for the long shot at this point would be to cross over to the desert. Something like Vanilla Requiem, and there's an item in Spirit. But there's so much that could happen with it that... yeah, like, that's definitely when you wanna check in on as quickly as you can and just kind of get some kind of comfort knowing what the song is. Or at least direction.
Dude, the sun is an option for that long shot potentially as well. With no
Right,
suns,
we already
though,
had we had magic in Lake, but yeah, magic's not always way of the hero. It is because the second one's in shadow every time. But,
all the time.
Yeah, but
okay. Storms looks a bit more concrete.
Yeah, that's a very likely one. Is this our first check on the save warp, or have we seen this?
No, this is our first adult save warp check.
Oh,
Triple
wow.
time! Nice!
Basically vanilla, what can go wrong?
Wow, is this really randomized? Kappa?
See, like
Alright.
the random spawns just make you take all these extra moves to get to your vanilla spawn points. You know, like there were a whole 3 extra steps to get there that time round.
Alright, so SeYsEy is probably gonna route towards bottom of the well,
Right.
if I
Makes
assume.
perfect sense at this point.
Although I think that SeYsEy missed an opportunity there to get Richard. Unless they really want to prioritize like chickens, SeYsEy could have gone to Ganon's castle, set time of day, checked Richard when they went back child.
Yeah, if you're
Market
safe
is
quitting
Way's
out.
hero.
I was thinking if you're walking out, like you don't want that because you've got no good warps for it. But yeah, I guess if you're safe quitting out anyway, then yeah, absolutely.
So
Also,
we're seeing a
yeah.
Forest Temple. Yeah.
Yeah,
from
Forest Tip
Namaha's
and
side.
Nocturne. Nocturne does mean that Namaha will go and get Storms after all of this, which is really, really good for Namaha. Like, knowing, or I guess not knowing it's not the long shot, but having something a little more reasonable than the long shot is going to be helpful. And a good way to get back there fairly soon. So otherwise that grave is stranded on like one end of Hyrule and Namaha's on the other, like nowhere near.
This makes sense for SeYsEy as well, doing chickens before potentially Way the Hero well. Especially if he feels that Namaha isn't going to do chickens. This is a check that could just win you the race outright.
Right. Yeah, this is one of those like big metagame call ones of like, if you think your opponent's going to do it, it's like you're in this awkward position where you're like, okay, do I try and save the 2 minutes or do I have to do it as well because in case it's required? SeYsEy doing it now feels like it takes almost that pressure off as well. It's like you don't have to worry about whether your opponent's going to do it or not because you know you're doing it anyway. They have to worry about whether it's relevant.
And SeYsEy has already left a check behind in Dodongo's cavern that he can only assume Namaha's gonna 100% get.
True, yeah. Yeah, just kind of have to play Thora elsewhere. Yeah, this is something I know I've rambled about a lot with you and like a couple of others, but it's one of those things with risky play and aggressive play is like skipping checks isn't a problem, but for every check you skip, it's more and more likely that something's there. Like the odds of an item being on chickens are like what 16% in these settings, maybe a bit more. It was like 20%. Sure, a lot of that is because of early bottlenecks, which we don't have here. But then if you skip chickens and Skull Mask and that one check you missed in DC, and like the odds are just going up and up and up for everything you skip, and eventually it gets to the point where actually it's more likely they have an item than not.
Yeah, you don't want to compile lots of skipped or missed checks along the way. It's usually a recipe to get punished. Yeah, it's more about what you check versus what you don't check when it comes to making gambles. Both of our runners are playing very safe, efficient, thorough to this point. Pretty, I don't want to say standard, but very, very excellent routing overall. I can only really point out the one, like not getting Richard for SeYsEy as any like a potential routing mistake to this point.
Yeah,
Other than that,
yeah, I
you
think
played Herb.
there's been little things that are like people might disagree on. You know, we had Namaha playing Bolero as child where SeYsEy didn't, but both are defensible. Like both are good options. And also, like the other thing is, like you said earlier, saying about it's more about what you check than what you don't. SeYsEy's also kind of had the option taken out of his hands a little bit with is that Foolish Deku? Sorry,
That is Foolish Deku.
Wow. So, go mode Kokiri Sword, right?
Yeah, of course.
That's how that
Kokiri
works, yeah.
Sword on Dark Link.
Of course, that's how it works.
Locked by a key in the boss key chest.
Oh, it looks like Namaha is gonna go check your good boy Richard over there.
Yeah, he's got Ganons available to him as well.
Yeah, is this... No bow, so you can't do... Shadow second, no bow, no hovers. But otherwise, like... Yeah, you can do a decent amount of this. Still has bomb shoes left, still has... Oh, it has the hook shot for all of Spirit, so you got hook and shoes, you got... Yeah.
Free checks.
If you're gonna
chances
dip
to find
in,
Letter.
this
Yeah.
this is the time to do it. It's either you do it now, where the only checks you're leaving behind are Light Trial and Shadow Trial 2, which are like the ones that have the highest requirements, or you're hoping to clear it in one go. If you're not doing it with these items, you're not doing it.
So far, nothing besides a wallet in the well for SeYsEy to this point.
Still a lot of Storm stuff to go. All 3 keys as well, so there's quite a few checks still to go. Something like, what, 7 checks there total, I think. SeYsEy's not done yet.
Yeah, there's still a pretty good chance there's something in here. Like that.
Right on cue.
Ask and you shall receive. Alright, well those are hard required, because Shadow is a required medallion today.
Also, that is a good point there. The wallet in the well means that, yeah, Market definitely has something. Something actually relevant.
No Tunic Way the hero. Feels bad. The wallet was in the well, Riley. It was
I'm pretty sure it was
underwater left.
underwater. Yeah.
Yeah. Not bomb locked.
No. I think my mic picks up the deep sigh.
That's okay. Alright, Namaha's got 2 more checks here in Ganon's. This little one and the boss key chest. All the way to the top.
Oh my...
Hey, another bomb bag!
Well, it wasn't bombs in Kratos, we know that much now.
Okay, maybe it was like a slingshot?
Nut.
Or, yeah, nut maybe. Also interesting to point out that
actually, yeah.
all of our bomb bags are out of logic right now.
Yeah, hammer or strength 2 being required then.
Yeah. That's really good information, honestly.
Or another dungeon.
Or another dungeon's available.
Kakiri's sword would actually put a bomb bag into logic.
Yeah, there's bow and strength. For Forest Temple. That's pretty much it, I think. Mistimed that bomb.
Hammer might do it as well. Early boss key, Hammer could actually... I guess Hammer does it anyway from the one in Field, but like... the one in Goron City, but... Worth noting that, yeah, in case there's something else in Ganon's. Okay. Nothing yet, at least.
Yeah, I think this is the Bolero to save warp here for Namaha. Yeah, SeYsEy finished up well. I wonder where he's going now. He's got the hover boots. Maybe back adult?
I guess so, yeah. Like, I'm just gonna point out here, by the way, we have 5 of the 6 child songs and no frog hint yet.
Oh, that's right. We haven't seen a Frogs 2 hint yet.
Imagine if, like, yeah, the DMC Way of the Hero is just for opponents, and they're like off to GTG doing everything else, and it's just it's just frogs. It's just for frogs.
Alright. Namaha's gonna check Richard. Are we gonna get simultaneous Richard checks here?
Looks like it.
Are we gonna...
Couple of good boys. Ah, never mind. Namaha's off to get money first. Oh, because he's right. He hasn't done bomb tube bowling yet. Sure, that makes sense.
Damn it. Alright. So Richard's probably got some sort of logic fixer here.
No, no, it does not. No, it definitely does not. What was that about tunics? I stand by what I said earlier. I think it's going to be big pose. I think that's what the opponents was for.
If you know how to do big pose with choose this seed, I feel like that's something Namaha would know how to do. I'm not entirely sure on SeYsEy. I don't have a complete profile.
More so than with choose, there's the setup for how to kill a big Poe with just Epona. You can have Epona run over the Poe by the wall, but the issue is they still don't even have a bottle, so they can't catch the Poe.
Just push it to the vendor.
Push the spirit through Hyrule Field.
Alright, both our runners now have the Deku Baron information.
Mm-hmm. And we're getting a little bit of a crossover here. Just Namaha's presumably going to bottom of the well here. SeYsEy. Be curious to see if SeYsEy's more doing like a thorough child again here, but I'd imagine more likely is go adult and explore from there.
Where do you go though if you're SeYsEy?
The first stop might be Ganon's. It might just be covering Namaha's ground and like covering Namaha's tracks there and going to Ganon's first. But otherwise, I would probably say the Garuda area looks really good right now.
With no bow, no strength, no FW, it's risky.
The Epona's Way of the Hero is really big though. I think if nothing else, you're going, okay, well I'm lens away from Desert Crossing in logic. I'm just gonna go over there, dip into GTG, check a couple of checks, and get the song. The song is the part that matters, because as soon as you know what that is, you can figure out a bit more about how the logic flows together.
Yeah. I mean, the Season 4 meta is Rush GTG with nothing. So, I guess I have to approve this play.
Oh! Oh, wow!
That is out of logic by a bow or Din's Fire.
Mm-hmm.
He knows Deku's Baron, so he's gonna do it this child section, because he's already child.
Sure.
But
yeah.
Namaha needs to push a grave. He doesn't have enough money.
We didn't
So
see
I wonder-
Dampé on SeYsEy then, did we? We saw chickens instead. It's kind of one or the other without suns.
Yeah, now SeYsEy's gonna do Ganon's. So, SeYsEy's opportunity to get that Kokiri sword, it's not super punishing because Deku is Baron.
Right.
Probably
right.
post-Shadow.
Yeah, that would make the most sense.
But what that does is, it now takes your Graveyard Way of the Hero and makes it kind of murky. I mean, you're not going to avoid the well. It's so big, and you still don't have like super tangible progression. But now Namaha has something that's like, this is guaranteed way of the hero, like 100%, no matter what.
Yeah, I don't think it will change anything on the grounds that even if Storms wasn't in the graveyard, Namaha would probably be doing bottom of the well at this point anyway. It's just the best location in the game right now, even without the hint.
For sure.
It's really interesting to me to see how similar their like routing and decision making has been so far, though. Like, there's been a divergence, and then they'll come back together, and then they'll like kind of cross over, go the other way, come back together, follow the same path for a bit, split, come back together.
It's been a really interesting race to watch for that reason. Two very, very talented runners, and either of them can win this race. So there still hasn't been any major separation. The Kokiri sword is nice for Namaha in his current situation, but I wouldn't say that it's game-breaking with Deku being Baron.
Right, yeah. And that's the thing, we thought that SeYsEy had a big advantage with the bombs, but then more showed up not long later, so it kind of... Those different divergences and the tiny little differences between the two as well have led to just slight swings one way or the other, and then it's balanced out again, and no player's got enough of an advantage to really say they're favoured. We are going to see an extra check from SeYsEy here. Got the hovers from bottom of the well first.
Yeah, this is something that Namaha couldn't do when he was in here. This can be massive for SeYsEy if this pays off.
Not quite. Not quite.
Just a brown shield.
So, saying about the next potential plays and stuff, one thing I want to throw out there as like a what do you think sort of thing. So you've got, Gerudo area, you've got some overworld, you've got the rest of field checks to do, and like Adult Lake. There's a whole lot of stuff like that. How likely do you think it is, or how, I guess, strong a play would it be to go into fire first?
Well, I mean, you have Bolero, and it is progression, and you could pull a bow out of the first check, so it's not like the worst play in the world. It definitely wouldn't be on the forefront of my mind playing this seed, but it's not a bad play at all. Just see how far you can get.
Because it's one of those things that's, always curious. It's like, yes, it's progression, but it's progression that you're going a little out your way for. So and you know that the hammer is... I mean, you don't know it's the hammer locking the bombs in this seed, but it's probably the hammer locking the bombs in this seed.
Yeah, and there's no guarantee that your Crater Way of the Hero is Epona. It could be the Fairy, where you need said hammer in order to get whatever is there.
Oh, that's true, yeah. At this point, I guess a bow dins. Because we said about the Kokiri sword, but now that's out of logic as well. So it's a bow, dins, hammer, strength 2. It's a lot of things that put bombs in logic right now. But they're not in logic yet.
Be really interesting to see what SeYsEy does as soon as they open this chest. Playing Bolero.
That on its own isn't too surprising, right? Only Warp Song out at the moment. Hasn't picked up Nocturne. So it's probably going to be going over to Forest and picking up Nocturne.
Yeah, probably a Forest dip as well. So it's got to be like a nut in the crater wall, right? Just making sure. We got both wallets, all 3 bomb bags.
Yeah, whatever it was. Like I said, I thought it looked brown and round. Not gonna make sense.
So yeah, you know the phrase that like great minds think alike. When you have 2 great runners going up against one another, like you mentioned before, you do have like little divergences, but most of the time they'll gravitate towards one another. Because when you have knowledge of like when's the right time to do certain things, they typically follow each other.
Right, there's those like slight differences in kind of the priorities. You know, you might push Way of the Hero a little more. You might value Way of the Hero a little bit more, or you might care about picking up your songs a little bit more aggressively. But generally speaking, it's all going to eventually converge. And right now we're seeing exactly that. Namaha's following a Way of the Hero into a dense location, but has already picked up the song from the minuet check. SeYsEy's kind of the other way around, has already done the Way of the Hero stuff, and is now off to pick up the song.
Here's a check that Namaha couldn't get before, DMT Storms.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay,
Oh!
now I'm sold on Gerudo area. Like, I'm sold on it now.
You got Chess Game. And Way of the
You
Hero
do,
Market.
you do. Yeah, I guess you have to do that as well, don't you?
You have to go to Chess Game.
It's
What if it's
50%
Way of the Hero
at this
Bow?
point. It's 50%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Then you could do horseback archery with potentially Way of the Hero Epona. So I think that's should be SeYsEy's plan here, honestly. Go to Forest, dip Forest, and then your save is right by Temple of Time, so you can very quickly go check Chess Game.
You save scum it, don't you? You go into
Yeah,
you save as adult. So you're gonna save anyway to go to Temple of Time. You go child, do lens game, and just reset if it's nothing. Go back to adult and follow that. Because I don't think there's much else to do as child. You don't want to be child for anything but lens game. But also, I don't think at this point you can afford to leave behind lens game.
I agree. I think, I'm not sure if that's going to be easy to route in for Namaha. He's kind of already cleared the whole DMT area. Unless he decides before making a decision on what to do as adult, he wants to, like, dip fire. I don't know. And no, we don't have a Frogs 2 hint yet. So Frogs 2 could be required, but we currently have no idea.
God, could you imagine if you're just meant to, like, cross the desert now to get suns, and the Frogs 2 hint is just at the back near Hyrule Castle or something?
Could, like, Bomb Logic be on Frogs 2? This seed? Are any of our songs out of Logic?
ZL was in the windmill. They got Bolero in Lon Lon that led to Eponas. Storms was behind ZL. Saria's they started with. Song of Time was Saria. So it would only be Sun's song. Both hooks were in. Magic was in. Oh, wait, well, yeah, Scale was...
Lon Lon.
Yeah, Scale was Lon Lon that led you to Magic. Yeah, no, the whole thing is in. If they get suns in the desert, everyone is in. That's revolting.
The very idea. Oh, this is interesting. So Namaha might route through DMT Storms here. He picked up Frogs in the Rain, which gave him big stabby. Maybe he realized that the Storms Grotto was kind of orphaned over there in DMT. So, oh, he's he has the Kokiri sword, so maybe this just made the most sense to him to route towards Deku with no minuet. Child Goron City towards Deku. But I mean,
Right,
he
yeah,
knows it's
yeah.
barren. But I guess he's already child. It is efficient to just clear it now. Especially when Jabu's a stone. You might not have to come back, child.
Yeah, the question is, do you do Child Goron City first or second? I feel like you go Deku Tree first, then go back up to do Goron City and then the Storm's Grotto.
Yeah, that's like...
And that kind of ends you in this section where you've got nothing else to do. Like, the most out-the-way check right now is that Storm's Grotto. You want to end there.
Yeah, for sure. You don't want to orphan that. Yeah, I think that makes the most sense to Namaha here. And this routes in all 3 Storm's Grottos in addition to Bottom of the Well, and lets him get Deku very efficiently.
And Child Goron City.
Yeah.
You know, we were talking numbers and stats earlier. Child Goron City is like a third of seeds. It's a good play. I don't like that it's a good play, but it's a good play. I am not a fan of Child Goron City.
Yeah, that lens may have been a problem for Namaha if the Kokiri sword, if they didn't find the Kokiri sword in Composer Grave. I mean, we haven't checked chess game yet. We're kind of just assuming that chess game has progression because that seems the most likely at this point, but it could just be pose and the entire seed is locked behind a bow that we have no idea where it is.
Right, yeah, like lens game is, I guess you could argue it's 50%. There are 2 checks left in market, one of them's Way of the Hero, so 50%, sure. Not quite how it works, but close enough. And I guess the other thing is, what other direction do you have at this point? What? What?
He has the hovers. SeYsEy has the hovers.
Yeah.
Namaha couldn't get that because he didn't have a strength upgrade or hover boots when he came into Forest Temple. That is massive for SeYsEy.
Oh my god. And that is in logic. That puts everything in.
There's our bow.
Bow, which leads to Kokiri Sword, which leads to bomb bagging Ganons. That is absolutely everything in logic.
That's really, really bad for Namaha, and it's kind of unfortunate because they didn't make... Neither player has made, like, objectively better ordering of things, but it's SeYsEy's choice of which dungeons to do in what order that has netted them a massive payout in this case.
And the thing is, though, like, we've been saying this whole seed, it's been leaning one way and then leaning another, and this is, like, the biggest kind of tipping the scales so far. But for all we know, there could be another bow just sat on... Technically, there could be another bow on Goma. If this is bow locked by that Kokiri sword...
Yeah, it's possible. If you need that bow to do Composer Grave, and... I mean, Kokiri sword would have to somehow lock Dins, though.
Well, the bomb bag.
Oh, yeah. Now our
It's
bomb
possible.
bag
It's unlikely, I think, there, but it's possible. More likely is that, yeah, Namaha can go anywhere at this point. There's admittedly not that many options, but if Namaha just finds another bow, it's like, okay, great. Like,
well, there's no out-of-logic bow on Goma.
not that one, yeah. Yeah, if both other bows are in Deku Tree, and just not on Goma, and that's it, this race might just about be done. Like, I hate kind of saying that, but if that were the case, I think it would be over pretty much already. Thankfully, for, you know, us on the spectator end, that is incredibly unlikely, because firstly, that means both bow and bomb bag would have to be Way of the Hero. I guess not. The bomb bag wouldn't have to on its own, but Dins would then have to be bow locked.
So SeYsEy is going to check Len's game, which is definitely their best call currently. Namaha's going to do Child Goron City into what we assume they're going to get the DMT Storms Grotto here. It would be very strange to not get it.
Right, you get to clear out Child Goron City into that Storm's Grotto, and then Nocturne back out again. Oh, useful.
Oh, that would have been good for Namaha earlier when he was in Forest Temple.
Yeah, actually, that if having Feroz in Forest would have been a really big deal, but now it's like a little difficult to make the call to go back there. Like, even if Namaha finds strength, are you gonna go back there just to do like a couple of checks and then set Feroz? Probably not, right?
It's not even a couple, it's literally one check.
Yeah.
Oh, I think Namaha got interrupted by the hot rod getting hit by a bomb sound effect. So he couldn't throw his bomb. Alright, I'm going with a strength upgrade here in chess game. That's my prediction.
Hammer. I want to go for something spicy. I'm going to go hammer. It's more likely it's a strength upgrade, or just not here, but... Oh, it's not here!
So it's either pose or the wallet somehow.
Oh my... Is it? It's not King Zora,
Tunic?
right? It can't be
can't
King
be.
Zora, right?
It can't be because we have logical access to Ganons with that bow.
No bottle! They can't use anything. They can't even get King Zora yet. Oh my god.
We don't know anything about Zora Tunic, right?
No, no Zora Tunic
Nothing
yet.
at
We have
all?
2 wallets, nothing for water, nothing for Zora Tunic.
So it's either big pose or we logically need a Zora Tunic.
Or Paradox Letter. But then no, because Ganon's was locked by...
DC and free. DC's in logic. We just got a bow
Well-
that's in logic that locks the bomb bag, right?
locked. Well, the bow opens up Deku, and then you get Deku and free, and that gets you the bomb bag in Ganon's.
Yeah.
So yeah, you could get blue fire there. So yeah, the wallet isn't for King Zora at all. What do they have? 20 skulls. Crossing over to Fortress.
Yeah, you got Fortress, 20 skulls. Not much else.
Horseback archery. Horseback archery is
Skullmask?
big right now. Skull Mask, yeah, we haven't seen Skull Mask. I think we saw them both start it, but not finish it yet.
Maybe I had the right idea, but just not the right item. Maybe there's something other than the Kokiri sword on Dark Link.
So I think it's worth saying now, like, if it's bow locked in Fortress, that really pushes that advantage that SeYsEy has. The bow from Forest becomes, you know, a huge, huge lead. If, on the other hand, it's like strength in Fortress, which I think is probably more likely at this point, honestly, that might, maybe not immediately, but within time, that might push Namaha back towards Forest.
A strength upgrade on its own, though, it doesn't get you that much in Forest. I
Doesn't get
honestly think
Yeah. The issue is it doesn't get you that much anywhere, and they're already pretty much last locationing right now, so where else do you go if not Forest with strength?
the question is, how long does it take Namaha to get there? Because I can definitely see them pretty much full clearing Adult before going back to Forest for what is essentially one check.
Mhm.
Dipping Fire, going to Fortress without a bow, which could be very catastrophic if horseback archery happens to have further progression. Namaha needs to find a bow literally anywhere. Doesn't matter how.
Yeah. Like, the absolute worst thing for Namaha right now would be to find, like, hammer on the rooftop chest in Fortress. And you're like, great, I got my progression. And you go and full clear fire because it's, like, the only thing you can do in the game. And it just leads to nothing. Because at that point, you've sunk in a ton of time that your opponent's just not doing.
I mean, it's possible that SeYsEy can make that same call. SeYsEy has been like playing very, very well to this point. Both runners have. It's just, the ordering of dungeons. He's taken a pretty significant, I'm not gonna say lead, but he has a very, very much better position than Namaha right now due to the ordering of dungeons.
Mm-hmm. I'm actually really
Neither
curious
runner
now.
has fire.
No, yeah. I'm actually really curious now looking at chat. Like, I don't know what the odds in Season 4 are for Magic Way of the Hero, but I'd imagine quite high. In this seed in particular, Magic is, the bottleneck right now. As far as we can tell. Like, if there's another bow in Adult Lake, or Dins in Adult Lake, then I guess maybe not Dins, but there's a lot that could still be there, and then it's just, like, if Hammer's in Lake, then it's just the whole seed is blown open. But, as far as we can tell at least, Magic has done a lot. And again, we've got this... They've gone their own separate ways, and then they've crossed back again. And again, the difference is that one of them's come out with a couple of extra checks, this one extra item. Just in this case, it's a pretty big one.
SeYsEy missed Hot Rodder there. Unfortunately. Gonna have to wait an extra cycle for him to come back around. So if you're Namaha here, you gotta figure that you start with the fire dip before going Fortress, just in case there's a bow in the first check. And you do have logical tunic, so you can logically continue. But then you gotta be thinking about Fortress.
And Adult Lake as well out of Fortress. Like, do you go to Adult Lake and then walk around, or Epona, around to Fortress from there, I guess?
Probably.
And the other thing with the fire dip, like, I like the fire dip in general, but it's like, do you just go in and do the first check? What happens if you get a key? Do you do the lava room? What happens if you get two more keys? Like, how far do you go?
It's a tough call. I think you gotta at least do the lava room, but after that, if you choose to dip fire, Namaha could just say, look, I'm not gonna dip fire and just go lake into Fortress.
Also, yeah,
He's
to
also
the
getting
point in
this extra
chat, that's kind of surprising. Yeah, to the point in chat, like, we're talking about the first bomb bag being Ganon's castle, so that already immediately rules out 2 of the medallions, probably the 3rd in fire. So all that would mean is that the strengths are bomb locked, and that would be it. Or not even bomb locked, magic locked potentially. for the magic to be way the hero.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with Cola here.
Oh, I completely blanked on Feroz. Yeah, I guess that makes the decision a lot easier, doesn't it?
Okay, SeYsEy has collected their Skull Mask, and I assume we'll probably be looking to route that in with Deku later on in the seed, potentially, if it ends up... Like, from their perspective, they're probably assuming Deku's going to be their go mode, but just in case.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay, what is Namaha going to elect to do here?
That looks
They're
like a
warping.
Bolero.
Yeah,
Oh, Nocturne.
Nocturne.
I'm sure I'm missing something. Has he got
Maybe-
20? I don't think so, right?
Yeah, I didn't think he had 20.
He's already turned in 10. Yeah.
SeYsEy is the one who's dipping fire.
Oh, he's not done this one yet. Okay, that's where Namaha's going, I guess.
Oh, this makes sense because Namaha had shoes the first time he was in here.
Right.
I mean, he could have done it as child, I guess, when he went to do bottom of the well. Maybe he just forgot about it.
Nice firelock. Cool. That's
So we know that it's a very quick fire dip for Namaha if they elect to take that choice.
right. That is actually good for SeYsEy as well, though, because the worst that can happen is your opponent does the same thing as you. The best that can happen, in SeYsEy's shoes, is that Namaha gets the hammer and does the boss key loop first. And wastes just that little bit of extra time looking for a boss key that never shows up.
Alright, so SeYsEy is going to get their Kukiri sword here, and that should key them in that they're in logic now. If they
Oh,
have
wow.
a read on their situation.
Immediate save quit as well, yeah.
Well, with no Serenade, this is probably your fastest way to get to the fortress area.
Oh yeah, no, it is. I'm just surprised because it was Nocturne for that one check and then leave. But I guess, like I was saying earlier, it's that one check that kind of gets stranded otherwise. And also, you know your opponent might have done it. It's one of those ones where you've always got to keep in mind, like, my opponent's going to do flame storage. I need to figure out a way to route that in early.
Also, potentially, SeYsEy could be thinking, alright, I want to clear as much as I can before going to Gerudo Fortress, because I suspect I'm going to get a strength upgrade. But if there's a strength upgrade somewhere else, that'll end up being strength 2, which you can then use to full clear the area. Or
Right,
as
if you
much
get-
as possible.
If you get hammer, you can do hammer rocks on the way through. Like, if you got strength 1 somewhere else and then strength 2 in forest, you can do a better loop through the Gerudo area. Like, yeah. Definitely an efficiency play in the terms of there's very little you can get by crossing the Gerudo Valley Bridge that will help you elsewhere, but there's definitely stuff you can get elsewhere that will help you over that way.
Yeah, SeYsEy also mentioned in their survey that their weakness is rushing Donjon. I paraphrased, but...
A little overly thorough.
Yeah, both our runners
Well-
doing the same thing, just in drastically different positions.
Yeah, this makes sense. It's just we have no idea what's going to show up here either. This could be, if this is like, what are the circumstances here? I guess if this is strength, that probably favors SeYsEy more at this point, just on the grounds of you can beat Forest and get a song.
I think that any item that the runners find favors SeYsEy until Namaha finds a bow. If Namaha finds a hammer that he uses to go into fire and then goes like deep fire and gets another bow, like sure it's deep fire, but like that's pretty much the big issue for Namaha right now. He doesn't know it's a big issue, but it's not having that one bow in Forest, and if that's required, there is very, very little that can make Namaha go back there for that one check.
Yeah, I agree. That's fair. I'm just trying to think, like, what is the most likely thing to pull Namaha back towards Forest? And it would be a strength upgrade, but that's better for SeYsEy at this point because Namaha's still not exactly doing Forest soon, and SeYsEy then gets to beat Forest.
I don't know if there's anything that can pull him back towards Forest. Besides another bow. It's just like dipping fire. Like, are you really gonna, like, even if you get hammer, are you really gonna go to Forest for one check after fire? I don't see it.
I just realized, like, one of the changes. When was it? About 6 to 8 months ago, was changing a lot of the sometimes hints. And they removed the Forest Floor Master. Could you imagine this seed of a Forest Floor Master sometimes hint?
Oh man. That would be a hard bailout for Namaha, but unfortunately can't happen anymore.
I was like trying to think, what would make the difference here? It's like, is there a hint in the desert that could do it? And it's like, Forest Floor Master. Oh no.
Alright, SeYsEy has good time of day for Shoot the Sun here. He's gonna have to wait for a little bit. I mean, he can get the skull on the tree if he wants something to do. Which he will do, okay.
I'm never a big fan of any situation where you have to wait for time of day. Like, that in no way feels good, ever. But
yeah, but in his
this
situation,
is about as good as it gets, yeah.
You have to. Like, you got no Serenade, you don't know when you're gonna get Serenade. You have a potential long shot Way of the Hero in Graveyard for who knows what. Like, you gotta just bite the bullet and wait it out. Unfortunately, this is another check that Namaha can't get, so if this ends up being progression, this can improve SeYsEy's position even more.
Right.
Piece of heart?
That's a huge rupee. So it is the magic, right? We've seen... Oh no, we haven't seen Lab Dive yet. So it's either magic or Lab Dive.
Confirmed, yeah. One of those two. So Namaha's the first one into Fortress, but he's missing a very crucial item for clearing this area. We'll see if he's able to find another bow or find something else that leads to another bow. Lens was in DMT Storms, Dotso.
Nice and early in the logic. Yeah, everything is in, like... Legitimately, we still have the potential here that Frogs 2 is in logic.
Oh god.
And the hint is just... I don't know, over in the desert. You have to cross on foot to get your Sun Song to get Frogs and the Frogs 2 hint at the same time. Like... The songs in the seed have been very... harsh.
I mean, the Frogs 2 hint could be behind Deku.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's true.
Namaha didn't
Namaha
check.
didn't check those.
I mean, granted, we have all our way to hero and all our Baron, so it's not like the biggest push to check those.
Right. Saria's was the starting song. They started with Saria's. We had ZL in the windmill, Bolero in Ranch that led to Epona. Storms was in the Composer Grave, and Song of Time was Saria check. So yeah, it's all ridiculously early.
Alright, so Namaha has got to be running out of checks at this point. He's got the GTG area, what he can do with the GTG area. I guess he's got Wasteland in logic, because he can cross. Colossus Song, I guess, and then...
Well, he doesn't have a way to light the torches yet because of the bow. So yeah, it's
right.
just the song and I guess the fairy fountain as well.
And then he's just got a bunch of random stuff. Skull Mask, Floor Master and Forest, which at this point he probably needs to go back to do.
Yeah, like... He did go back and do chickens in the end, so he's done chickens and Dampe.
Yeah, both of them have been very efficient. They haven't left a lot of stuff behind. Like we mentioned earlier, it's just unfortunate that SeYsEy did well before. It's unfortunate for Namaha, I should say, that SeYsEy did well before Forest Temple. Therefore, they had the hover boots, whereas Namaha did things in a different order.
Like, we said this the whole way through. They've basically been doing very similar paths with, like, slight divergences here and there, and then, like, meeting up again, and then crossing over, and then meeting up again.
Oh, no. Oh, 1500's dead.
Oh, it was hinted, wasn't it? Right. No, yeah, that's true.
Dead. So, they wasted more arrows to save time.
Oh, Epona was not for this.
I mean, there's no guarantee at this point that Epona even is the way of the hero and creator.
Oh!
We got a hammer. We have a hammer.
So, at this point, you find out pretty soon whether it's Epona or hammer, I guess. Or whether it's, Epona's or the Crater Fairy in there, I guess.
I mean, it's probably required for big pose, but there is, like, a back route where you need a Zora tunic, logically, for some reason.
Key on Central Pillar for an item on Dark Link. It's always Dark Link. No, yeah, it's almost certainly just a big pose at this point. Let's just have it be both. Let's have first bottle on the Crater Fairy, for letter on big pose, for, like, I don't know, required Requiem in Ice Cavern, and your other two bottles.
I want to see a bottle in Crater Fairy. Really bad.
Just that much. Yeah, just even that part is like, that's enough. The scene's just... Game has a sense of humor, right? Like, it knows.
I'm not getting trolled by the wolf boss here. Just decide I'm just gonna spin to win.
Really going for that, yeah, like, charged up spin. It's like, no, just... They're not letting you do it. Just quick spin them. And this is where the FW gets set. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. A lot of sense.
Yeah, with no bow, you're right there. You can go back for the strength checks if you come back with strength 2.
And you're expecting a bow to be relatively soon, like... Bows usually aren't that late in a seed. You know, there are some bow mode seeds, but rarely.
It doesn't look like SeYsEy has found anything important bow locked. Maybe a key or two.
I was gonna say, how many keys did Namaha have? Was it just one? If that?
I mean, SeYsEy was checking bow lock checks, and they only had one key before that room.
Oh, no, wait. There are a couple on right side maze, though, yeah. Okay. Has 3. So one of those checks is in logic, and Namaha just left it behind.
Namaha did not check the maze at all.
Yeah. And didn't even go over and get the song. This is aggressive.
Oh, he's checking Crater Fairy in Way of the Hero Crater.
Right, I guess you can Feroz back, reset it.
Oh, I see. He's gonna check Crater Fairy and then probably dip fire and then just FW back to GTG.
Leave it there again, save, then go get the song.
Yeah, this makes sense to me, especially if Crater Fairy, like, from his perspective, has his only bow.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's Epona.
Good old stick buddy. Yep, Epona. Way the hero for what is probably just big pose. Actually, no, it is big pose.
I think it has to be at this point, yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Can't even be like wonky long shot logic because we already have the long shot.
Nice sphere 0 long shot, yay.
So now we're looking for a bottle. I didn't think that that's what I'd be saying when I woke up this morning, but we are looking for a bottle to continue the seed.
Oh, wow. And the worst part is, like, it could be anywhere at this point. We have no idea what items on Big Pose. It could be Dins. It could be anything. So I guess the easy side is it's basically got to be Dins at this point, unless it's Strength 1. Except it could be Strength 3 leading to Dins. It could be Ruto's letter leading to Dins. Like, we're only really missing 2 items, but we could be missing a lot of items in practice.
Alright, so we're getting some maze checks.
Yeah. We do have a 30 skull hint. We do not have 20 yet, though. Well, it was another key, so even without the bow, the next one was in as well.
Two seeds.
So this chest here is the one where SeYsEy will be out of logic after this, unless it's a key, I guess. It is, of course.
Okay.
You
get one more.
Next one. Yeah, one more time. So now SeYsEy will be out of logic after this, and Namaha won't be able to go further than this.
I mean, Namaha can beat Volvagia and continue climbing.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I meant in GTG. If Namaha goes back to, GTG, he had 2 less keys than SeYsEy did.
Ah, okay, I see.
2 fewer.
Alright, so it looks like only the hammer in GTG. SeYsEy not setting for Roar's Wind or crossing.
Yeah, that's a bold call.
That's very interesting, because you don't have a strength upgrade. I mean, Deep Fire isn't in logic because you don't have a strength upgrade. It's very possible that, like, you have to cross to get Requiem to go do Child Spirit.
SeYsEy didn't even check Hammer Rocks. This is aggressive.
Namaha gonna blow 7 chews. If you hit that specific corner of the first hole with an explosive, you can actually damage Volvagia's glitched hitchbox from the cutscene. A perfect Volvagia fight with chews.
That was really good. Really, really good fight.
Looks like SeYsEy is also going to use bomb chews. They have a lot more chews to burn than Namaha did. With the Goron Sword, this requires 7 bomb chews. With Master Sword, this requires 9. But it is faster than doing the 1-3-3 method with bombs.
Oh, wow.
There's the bottle!
Oh, wow. Find a fish swimming around in a volcano. That's the... Oh my god.
Wow, okay, so... Namaha is still missing the bow. SeYsEy can now just go do big pose and quote-unquote continue playing the seed, while Namaha... he either has to go find his bow, or go do big pose with only Epona or bomb chews.
Does Namaha know the bonus post strat, do you know?
Namaha is the type of person to pull up videos in the middle of a race if he doesn't know how to do something. So, if he doesn't know, he'll probably find out how to do it.
As long as he knows that they exist, which I imagine he does, yeah, we'll probably see at least an attempt.
I mean, he's practiced Hookless Shadow and Hookless Spirit, so...
Yeah, okay, I imagine he knows it.
In Bolus Epona.
Yeah.
Alright. SeYsEy is going to clean up the Crater Fairy here, which makes sense, and then probably rush Big Pose, and we'll see... we'll see where that leads us. The big reveal we're waiting on.
For what it's worth, I'm pretty sure the bolus big post strat was a Rob Dog one. Because generally speaking, I assume anything related to big pose is probably Rob Dog's doing.
I believe it was a Toxic strat, but I'm not 100% certain on it. It's a cool strat nonetheless, but Namaha
I think the
has decided to go
one,
back to
yeah.
fire.
Okay. It was toxic? Okay, my bad. I should have assumed that if somebody was developing a strat in the last year and a half, it was probably toxic.
Here, Namaha, how deep do you go here? Do you stop once you hit this next check? Basically, you can't continue in logic without a strength upgrade, and I don't know if like. Obviously, Deep Fire can just pay out. He can just get something that he needs there, but when you're really bottlenecked...
Yeah. It's generally an inefficient play to go through Deep Fire, and it's out of logic. I think if it was one or the other, maybe, but both? Nah, I don't think you can justify it. Alright,
this is
what's
probably
the
a
damage
strength
on...
upgrade on Pose.
Almost gotta be, right?
Or Letter. Or Dins. Okay.
Oh!
I suck.
Strength go mode? Huh?
We're actually legitimately strength from go mode right now.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, no.
Holy shit.
What did I say? 68% strength 3 is required in Season 4. This is the 32% and then some.
Oh no, Namaha fell off the box.
Oh no.
Alright, so SeYsEy is in a massive lead right now due to the bow.
Right, right. It doesn't even have FFW locked up, so can just leave it in shadow if there's no strength here.
Yeah, I think SeYsEy was rolling a little too early across the gap in his first 2 tries. Gets it the 3rd try though.
Oh no.
Gee, I wonder if
Hmm?
I wonder if Namaha is thinking about the logic here, because like you know that your Din's strength and bow from Go mode. You know that bow can't be on big pose, so you're gonna get either strength or Din's.
Or an item leading to them, yeah.
Yeah, so he's gonna continue here. And I guess if Big Pose has strength, then this becomes in logic, but if Big Pose has Dins, then this becomes potentially really bad.
Mm.
So this is a big risk from Namaha's perspective.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised that he's doing this before the GTG maze, the Colossus song, whatever else there, but at the same time, like, he's got to be so low on locations now that maybe this is I'm just going to make a big call, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, the end.
Potentially. It'd be interesting to hear his thought processes post-race. SeYsEy, on the other hand, has played really efficient, really good. Same with Namaha. It's just very unfortunate about the bow.
Right. All the best races and all the best racers are the ones that are good execution, like good decision making, and then that little element of luck to kind of tip it over the edge. And in this case, that luck went to SeYsEy more so. Like, they both had little moments and then brought it back, and SeYsEy got the big one. So far. Okay, so keep going.
There's another bottle. Also, yeah, let's give a big shout out to J-Bone, our restreamer today, our trackers, KNXT Door or Connects Door. I'm not entirely sure of the pronunciation. Sorry if I butchered it. Lazy, our second tracker, and my co-commentator Yoshikyon.
And yeah, thanks, Jimbo69.
Alright, can we get 3 bottles in Shadow?
Way of the hero fire. Let's do it. God, that would be awful if that was hinted, and then Namaha's just like, oh yeah, we're fire for the way of the hero. It's like, nah, it's a bottle. We know it won't be hinted,
K?
for what it's worth.
Okay, I'll remember
So just
that.
next door.
Next door.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'll remember that for the future. Thank you for correcting me.
Gotta be second magic in Shadow at least, right? It always is.
Or magic in Deep Forest, locked by a strength upgrade, potentially.
Ugh. Why don't we get both? Just put it on top of the Crusher room in Shadow. Strength
That would
locked
be
and magic locked in Shadow.
that would be very interesting. Whatever's on top of the Crusher room.
Yeah, that room is actually going to be really interesting because they will get it and they're not going to care that much if it's out of logic, but yeah, there's that'll tell you a lot about the seed. Oh, never mind. No, it won't.
There we go.
Never mind. Won't tell you a damn thing. It is in
Alright.
logic. SeYsEy is in go mode.
Yep, that is go mode for SeYsEy. Namaha's still clearing fires. Unfortunately, at this point, too far behind to catch up.
I think, yeah, like, there are still options. If Namaha just finds, like, bow and strength in the next 2 checks, then it's like, okay, you just go straight to big pose, get the dins, and SeYsEy still has to do Deku Tree. But Deku Tree doesn't take a long time with dins, and yeah, the clock is definitely ticking on Namaha right now.
Yeah, he's gotta get strength and bow pretty much back to back.
And you've got to assume, right? And you've got to assume, like, if it's not in fire, his next play is to FW back to GTG. So he goes back over to through the training grounds, and well, SeYsEy did that. We know that's got nothing.
Yeah.
Slowest part of Deku Tree right now isn't doing Deku Tree, it's getting there. No minuet, so you just have to save quick, go from river.
Probably. That's probably your best bet.
Yeah. But yeah, either way, not exactly time consuming.
You know, it's strange for me to say this, but it's possible that SeYsEy might still feel behind here.
Go mode in under 2 hours, and yeah, actually.
They did clear a lot of extra stuff from their perspective, and they did write in the sheet that they do feel that they are too thorough.
I think that's like one of those things that happens in so many races as well. Like, everybody always thinks they're behind because it's so easy to spot the things that you've done wrong because you're used to your best play. You have no idea how your opponent's going to play, and it's so easy to get caught up on this assumption that, oh, my opponent has played optimally and I made all these mistakes, so clearly I'm behind, and they're just both thinking that all the time.
Nice iron boots, by the way. Chilling in the skull pot room. I would have picked them up, just in case you screwed up this room.
Probably same.
But I mean, these are top 32 runners.
Did not screw up the room.
Extremely talented runners. Yeah, they won't screw up the room.
Just don't make mistakes, forehead.
I mean, for what it's worth, I think I can count on one hand the amount of mistakes SeYsEy has made. He has played exceptional in both routing and execution. He fell off the bridge in DC, and he missed the opportunity to get Richard that one time.
Right.
But otherwise has been like fantastic.
Right, and same for Namaha, right? Like, Namaha messed up child shooting, and I don't even, that might be about it.
Yeah, it's pretty much the big separation is the order in which our runners cleared their dungeons.
Yep.
SeYsEy went into the well before Forest, Namaha went into Forest before the well.
Talking to a Goron is probably a mistake. So, coming in with a hot take, you know, I know not everyone agrees with that, but... Where? This is curious though. Namaha did warp out. Is this the forest play?
I think so. I don't see why he would be going towards this direction.
Yeah, I don't know.
20 skulls? Oh, it's probably 20. But he has Nocturne.
Right, picks him up there, but yeah, it's something. This is surprising. Oh, does he need Is he missing a skull or two? He's going into DC to get the last couple of skulls for 20?
Yeah, this is probably 20 skulls. There's also a slingshot in here, which he missed. Well, he scummed it last time he was here. So he's probably going back to get it. Which makes sense from his perspective. He has so little left in his game, from his perspective, that...
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Is probably, overall, his best play. Again, it's very unfortunate for Namaha.
Yeah, like, it still feels wrong to me, but it's very easy to say that when we know what the answer is. I'm really surprised at this before the GTG maze. That's the big one. Even if it's only one check in logic, it's that and the song.
Yeah, Namaha's gonna go child here. Yeah, at this rate, I don't think SeYsEy is gonna finish before Namaha gets his bow, because he's got to be running out of checks at this point. But SeYsEy is gonna be pretty far along.
Right, it wouldn't surprise me if Namaha's last check is the Floor Master, and at the point where he gets that, SeYsEy's, on the climb to Ganondorf, or, in Ganondorf or Ganon fights. I got really confused there because the start of SeYsEy's Scarecrow song is just the start of Bolero, and I was like, wait, why is SeYsEy warping? Switched off for a moment, apparently.
Oh! A bow on 20!
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Wow, okay, so Namaha is gonna think that that's what he missed.
Wait.
He's gonna go do Forest Temple, see the other bow. Oh, he's gonna go back to GTG first?
Yeah, he doesn't make sense. He doesn't have strength. But
he needs to do Big Pose.
Big Poe, yeah, you've got to, right? Gotta know he's in
logic.
Logic.
It's Way of the Hero, and you're missing 2 items now.
Was it the bomb bag logic? Does he think he's out of logic? No, the hookshot was early. You could get to GTG really early to get the hammer. Like, even if it wasn't Deku Tree, the hammer was in logic. And you can get a bomb bag with that.
Yeah, I don't know. This is just... This really seems as though Namaha has cleared Deep Fire and is like... expects SeYsEy to have done 20 before him, and now it's just like, I gotta make the play. Like, I just gotta hope that there's something else in here.
Right, a little bit like necessary desperation play. It's like, you know that you've pretty much last locationed a Sphere Zero check. And you just have to try and make up for that. And I guess then the issue is that, well, he doesn't know that, yeah, there was another bow that was even earlier for SeYsEy.
But like, you still gotta check your Way of the Hero, though.
Yeah, I don't get that one. Unless this is I guess the other option here is this freeze up. No, but he reset for Roars. I was gonna say, like,
Yeah,
if this is to free up your Feroz Wind, that would make sense. But he reset it.
I just think that in this situation, even if you're Namaha, you still gotta rush pose.
Yeah.
You've got to see what's there. Like, pose is required. Like, almost for sure. You know that Epona is Way of the Hero, Market's Way of the Hero. Like, if you pull Din's there, it's like, it's not like you're gonna avoid Shadow Temple. And even if it's a strength upgrade, like, you're getting the ability to do a progression dungeon. I don't think that this is, even for like gambling, I don't think this is good.
Yeah, there is like always that interesting mix of like, is this a gamble that is like kind of an extreme gamble? Is this a straight up mistake? Or is this the nerves and like the tilt factor playing into things, like the mindset? And a lot of the time the answer is probably a bit of all of them. Namaha's play was incredibly consistent up until the point of, okay, they've both just beaten Fire. And I guess the visit to Gerudo Training Grounds was the first bit when Namaha left without checking the maze, and it was like, wait, really? That's ambitious. And from that point on, it's been very I don't mean to sound harsh saying it, but like erratic feels like the right word for it.
Yeah, it definitely feels like it definitely looks like Namaha feels like he's playing behind. And you know what? Like, there's definitely merit to making some calls when you feel behind. I just don't agree with that particular call.
Right.
On my side of things.
Yeah. Right. Like, Fire was a risk. At least up to the strength block was a reasonable risk. I think any further than that, I'm like, that was a little too much. Leaving GTG when he did, right, and leaving GTG when he did was like completely reasonable. I'm like, yeah, sure, you left behind one check in logic, sure, but your way of the heroes means so much right now, and yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, both players have played fantastic. Even Namaha is, like, as much as we maybe be criticizing Namaha here, like, it's everything has been really good from both runners. It's just, it's unfortunate that Namaha ended up in a situation where he felt like he had to make those risks. It's unfortunate that they didn't pay out for him specifically. It's, you know, rando's gonna rando sometimes.
Right. Like, that's exactly it, yeah. Like, Namaha had to take those, or had to take some risks in his mind. I don't necessarily agree with the risks he took, but I it's easy to say that when, you know, we're sat on this end, right?
Yeah,
it's
for
easy
sure.
to say, like, oh, this is, like, not the right risk or whatever. It's like, well, we know what the right ones are. And yeah, like, that's one of the things with a bracket match, the 1v1, is you're going to have those metagame calls, you're going to have those decisions to make. I don't actually know how much these two runners know about each other. And that might factor into things.
Well, these are two runners from what I would like to say are two very different eras. Namaha started playing around Season 2, if I remember correctly. First made top 32 in Season 3, I want to say. I think they almost made top 32 in Season 2, if I remember correctly. And SeYsEy, I think, I'm not 100% sure if they played in Season 3, but this is their first top 32 bracket match.
I think SeYsEy was in at least the Season 3 Challenge Cup, I think also in the Season 3 quals, but was kind of just up and coming at that point. Whereas, yeah, like you say, Namaha played during Season 2 and then made bracket in Season 3. So, and also, like, they're from kind of very different, they started at very different times, and they're in very different time zones. They might not, like, you know, a lot of the races that happen within the community where you get to know the other players in the community are these smaller races with, you know, 3, 4, 5 players, and it's just a bunch of people jump in, like, casual race, if it's on those, these two are very unlikely to have played against each other. Not to mention the fact that Namaha has played a little bit less over this year, up until kind of the build up to Season 4.
I mean, he's played offline a decent amount.
Right. Sorry, played, in the races, I should say, yeah.
But I mean, you could just tell the amount of practice that SeYsEy's put in. Like, they did they just did a no bow BGS quick kill on the Poe, which is not easy to do, by the way.
I love that one.
That takes practice to get down consistently, and that you can just tell the amount of work that they've put in order to get to this point, and they're very deserving of their results.
Right, I guess that's saying about the different backgrounds in terms of like how long they've been playing and everything. That's one of the other big things here is Namaha is very much a rando player, right? Namaha started playing OTR, has kind of like dipped into other things here and there, but is pretty much a rando main, I guess. SeYsEy's background is in speedrunning. Like, SeYsEy came from Link's Awakening. And
Oh, really?
the big, like, SeYsEy is one of, like, I think, like, top 3, top 4 in Link's Awakening DX. So there's kind of a different approach to that. You get things like, you know, you'll see people grinding strats for hours and hours and hours and hours. And that grind is kind of like almost built into speedrunning communities, where I think for a lot of rando players, the grind is, I'm gonna race a lot. And that does really well for some things and really not for others.
Almost got the green Poe quick kill. It's a little out of range for it. Alright, so Namaha is about basically what was that?
I just took a look through the runners have little questionnaires, a little bit of information on them. We were very wrong about SeYsEy. SeYsEy apparently played in 1.0 of OOTR.
Oh, really?
Yeah, SeYsEy was apparently around in OOT, like 1.0, but then stopped for a while, picked it up again during Season 2, nearly made bracket in Season 2, but then stopped until Season 3, so struggled a bit more there.
Okay.
So that makes more sense. It's not that SeYsEy hasn't been around, it's that SeYsEy has come in and out.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense. My bad for
yeah.
the incorrect information, but
I had no idea either, and oh.
I mean, the game has changed so much since like the 1.0, 2.0, even 3.0 days.
God. I actually found like the first seed I'd ever played at one point a couple of months ago, and like I just loaded it up just to see. And the first time I played was like just before 3.0, I think it was like late 2.0. It was still 2.0, but 2 point something. And just like, I was like, I'll just fire it up, see, you know, what I did, where I was, that kind of thing. First thing I did, play a warp song, watch the animation, I was like, I'm not doing this. I was like...
SeYsEy is moving right along here in Forest Temple. He's got half of Shadow Temple up on Namaha and half of Forest Temple, so he's about a full, like, I want to say approximately 15 minutes ahead, maybe even a little bit more.
Yeah, it's like a dungeon and a bit almost. I mean, basically done with Forest. So Namaha's like halfway through Shadow, yeah. Does have to do Deku, and I guess getting there is kind of awkward, but actually, SeYsEy is also going to grab at least a song on the way. Like,
Yeah,
there's a chance that's just Minuet and it's even faster, but... Oh, no, Minuet's OT, isn't it?
Yeah,
Ignore
yeah.
me. Ignore me.
Yeah, Namaha is in go mode. Unfortunately, barring some sort of crazy circumstance, it seems as though SeYsEy will end up winning this race.
Mhm.
Nice one cycle from SeYsEy. Pretty easy with the BGS, but you never know.
I guess one thing we can touch on while they run through a bunch of pretty much useless dungeons at this point is their next matchup. So first round, it's pretty simple, you know. Winner faces winner of the next other matchup, loser faces the loser of the other matchup. There's no like crossover into losers bracket or anything. So at this rate, SeYsEy will be facing the winner, Namaha faces the loser of Mr. Mario versus Phoenix Feather.
Oh boy.
The fact that one of these four has to get eliminated at 0-2 is honestly harsh. Like, you could have picked any of these players to make top 10 this season comfortably. The way it works out was Mr. Mario made top 10. These two are, you know, towards the middle of the rankings, and PF is down there near the bottom.
Both of these matches, both the winners and the losers side matches that result from this are going to be very, very hype matches to watch. I'm very excited to see how the tournament progresses. See, Namaha's going to pick up those irons. He yelled at me once in a multi-world for not doing just that. He's like, what if you screw up the fan room? I'm like, I'm not going to screw it up. I screwed it up.
Namaha's not going to screw it up.
Hell yeah. SeYsEy with the save warp and is going to walk to Kokiri. Yep, that's the fastest way to get there. I can tell you from experience that being in go mode and having a bunch of dungeons to do at the end of your bracket race is extremely nerve-wracking.
Alright, like, I imagine it's, you know, so I've not really had the bracket experience. I have, but not in the same context. It's bad enough in a qual or like a weekly when that happens. It's got to be so much more nerve-wracking when it's a 1v1.
You got your eyes on race time and you're like, please don't finish.
I would hide it. I could not look. I would minimize it.
That's a strat. I'd only do it once I was in go mode, but...
Right, yeah. Minimize once you're in go mode. Yeah. Okay, I've done was... So it was, you're allowed to watch your opponent's stream. Like, it's... You can see what they're doing. And that is a very different experience, so... Yeah, no. I imagine it's a lot more nerve-wracking when you have no idea what's happening.
Even if you feel like you've played the seed, like, as good as you could possibly play it, there's always that doubt that creeps into the back of your mind, like, oh, but maybe they skipped, like, this long check that I did, or I might have skipped this.
I imagine SeYsEy feels pretty good about this seed, and at the same time, there's still going to be seconds and that was nothing? What if Namaha skipped that and did everything else the same? And so you're just watching, like, until you get that final hit. Even during the final cutscene, it's just like that. I swear to God, if they finish now, like, if I get sniped at the last minute.
Yeah. Especially in a relatively linear seed like this, you're definitely gonna think that it's close. For sure.
Mm-hmm.
There wasn't any, like, crazy gambles you had to make if you were SeYsEy. SeYsEy has played this seed very, very straight up. And so,
Right.
from their
It's-
perspective, this should be a very close race on their end.
Right, it's that early bottleneck and the ordering there, and they might, like, know that pointed them in a direction, but they don't know if there was another bow somewhere. They have no
Exactly.
idea what was where, so, like, they know the thing that could be an advantage, but you don't know that it is an advantage. And again, like we mentioned earlier, part of the big problem here is the mindset. You're always going to think you're behind in a 1v1 a lot of the time. Or usually people think they're behind in a 1v1 because you don't know what your advantages are necessarily, but you absolutely know every place you made a mistake.
For sure. Alright. SeYsEy's got their 6 medallions. They're about to head back adult. We're probably looking at a mid to late 220s finish time.
I guess they've already done the dip into Ganon's castle, so
Yeah, probably
probably
mid
talking
220s.
like a 225-ish, yeah.
For someone who is new to OOTR, I would definitely suggest joining the Ocarina of Time Randomizer Discord. There you can get access to a lot of helpful people and resources to help you get started playing. And personally, I would definitely recommend rolling the easiest possible settings for your first seed.
Yeah, either roll something easy or be prepared to spend a long time on it. I always say, like, you go two extremes. I did my own thing was always you do the opposite. Did full key sanity, full skull sanity, because I was like, I'm gonna learn this game inside out. It took me 3 days to finish, like on and off, but yeah.
Alright, so Namaha missed the Bongo quick snipe.
Oh,
You can actually hit Bongo's eye out of midair before he goes to, like, lunge at you. If you know where about his eye is, you can hit him pretty quick and saves a decent amount of time.
I thought he'd missed the one cycle for a second because one of the hits whiffed in between, but no, still picks it up.
Yeah, Bongo BGS one cycle is pretty easy. You could just spam and get it.
It was the fourth hit, which is always the scary one. It's like that's the one where you don't want to miss the timing, and that was where it missed. I was like, no, okay, still good.
It looks like SeYsEy is gonna finish before Namaha gets to PG, so unfortunately, we might not get to see that sweet, sweet PG one cycle. I mean, he has BGS anyway, but I feel like Namaha would do that for the fans.
Yeah, it depends. Like we've got so the runners are on a 15-minute delay, so it depends how far he got through forest in the 15 minutes. Like, assuming SeYsEy finishes and Namaha gets there in 15 minutes, just re-equip Master Sword and just do it anyway.
So here's what I think. I think that Namaha finds the bow in forest before SeYsEy finishes, and then as soon as SeYsEy finishes, he knows exactly why.
Yeah, that would make sense. It's either, well, I guess Namaha won't know quite why, because it could be, oh, you got hovers into the bow in forest, right? Or it could be, did you push 20 skulls? Because, like...
Yeah.
The 20 skull turning is, One of those ones that some people will rush very aggressively and other people will leave 2.5 hours in, still haven't checked it.
Yeah. Alright, let's see if SeYsEy gets a clean Ganondorf here. With BGS, it takes 5 hits? 4 or 5 hits, if I remember correctly. I think it's 5.
5, yeah.
Yeah, it's got barely any magic. Nice.
Doesn't need it.
Three rolls, jump slash into the cutscene. Very clean from SeYsEy up to this point. Namaha just re-entering Forest Temple. Unfortunately, going to be knocked into the losers bracket.
Gonna pick up that bow just in time to kind of realize. It is, like, you know, we've said how kind of unfortunate it's been that the race could be decided by effectively, like, not even a decision so much as just the order that you do those things in. It's like they both made the same plays. Like, it wasn't even a bad play that was the problem. It was just in this seed, the plays didn't work out in this order. But that's also kind of how this top 32 is, right? It's incredibly, like, cutthroat bracket. One slip up and you could lose to pretty much anyone in this bracket.
It doesn't even have to be a slip up.
Right.
Sometimes
Rando
races
gonna
just
rando.
work out like this. Yep. Namaha should hold his head high. He played really, really well. SeYsEy as well. Obviously, SeYsEy is going to end up winning, but both of these players played fantastic.
Yeah, and I think that is one of the things here is, like, obviously SeYsEy's going to come out with the win and feel good about that. Namaha, I think, is the type of person who is going to look at this and just go, yeah, okay, nothing I could have done about that one.
Yeah, it is what it is. Alright. SeYsEy about to take out Ganon. And there we go, SeYsEy in first place with a final time of 2:25.16. Congratulations to SeYsEy. Their first season tournament bracket win. Namaha's elected not to continue, it looks like.
And
Congratulations to
SeYsEy,
SeYsEy.
yeah.
Hello, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, GG's.
GG's, SeYsEy. That was a very well played match by both you and Namaha. Very,
Yeah,
very
thank
well
you.
played.
Thank you. Oh, I was really scared during the whole hand. When I saw the bottle on Volvagia, then it leads to the Inspire and then to the Strength. I was like, oh my god, I did GTG so late. I was really scary.
Yeah, we were thinking that when you get items back to back to back, and then you have like 3 dungeons to go to finish, it can be very, very nerve-wracking to complete those.
Yeah, absolutely. My execution was pretty bad. Like, my forest was horrible, pretty much. But yeah, I don't know what happened to Namaha. Actually, I really thought I would lost. But
I mean, firstly, I want to say, like, we've been talking most of this race about how good your execution was for, like, the entire race. So the fact that the first thing you said was like, my execution's terrible was
no,
wow, okay.
Just at the end. Actually, I think I played pretty well, but just in forest, I was like, ah.
Right, fair enough.
But yeah.
The biggest thing on Namaha's side was he did the forest dip before bottom of the well, so he didn't have the hover boots to get the bow.
Oh, he didn't get the bow. Oh, damn. And then
He eventually found one on 20 skulls, but it was after, he'd gone into like deep fire and things like that first.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's too bad. Okay, yeah, but when I did like my child section, when I did Dempe and Garden City Child, and then I found nothing. I really thought I was behind, especially that the end was linear. So
It's interesting. You both made very similar plays the entire way through. Like you
Mhm.
kind of branch off in different directions and then just cross over and do whatever the other one had just done. So I think when you were doing the Child Goron City and everything, Namaha had been there about maybe 5 to 10 minutes before.
okay,
And it was just this constant overlap until eventually you were both in GTG at the same sort of time. And then obviously that
okay.
changed straight into fire, into big pose, but that lack of a bow was basically the big difference there.
Yeah, okay, but he's done Deku before me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like before GTG.
yeah.
okay,
He finished
okay.
Deku in his child one. He did flame storage to get the Kokiri sword.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he did Composer Grave as a child, and so
Okay.
he had that cleared.
Yeah, I forgot that check when I got my bow and fire arrows. I played Nocturne, read the int, and then save warp, and I forgot the check. That was dumb, especially that it was Kokiri Sword. But yeah,
I mean, if anything was going to be there, Kokiri sword was probably the best thing for
Yeah,
you with
yeah.
Garen Deku.
yeah, with Deku Baron, that wasn't that huge of a deal. And especially that I didn't have Dinspire at that time, so it was okay. Didn't lose too much, I think, by forgetting that check.
Yeah, we were interested in the bomb bag logic for like the first hour of the seed because
Same.
all of your bomb bags were bomb bag locked
Yeah.
or hammer locked, and then once we found the Kokiri sword and the bomb bag and Ganons were like, okay.
Oh,
Like once we
yes.
found where the bow was in forest.
But I didn't know if the bow was in logic without the strength during the whole seed. I think it was not, right?
With
bow
hovers,
is
it would have
worse?
been, yeah.
Yeah, it's in logic with hover
Is
boots.
it just with over?
Mhm.
But I think you needed the strength. Okay.
Yeah.
And but the thing is that the hammer is in logic too. I
Right.
think.
Yeah, the
So
hammer
you
was
can go to
surprisingly heavy.
Ganon's castle without Kokiri Sword and with a hammer. I think. That's
or
what
the
I thought.
hammer could get the one in the field as well. They were actually, for a while we were like, oh, all of your bombs are bomb locked, and then it turns out that kind of all of them were available somehow.
Yeah.
So, moving through in winners bracket, you're going to end up against the winner of Mr. Mario versus Phoenix Feather.
Yeah.
One thing that kind of came up during this race, and I guess going forwards, do you know much about the players? Are you the type to go scouting your opponents?
Yeah, I'm that type of guy, but I actually don't really know much about them for now. But I will watch their replay for sure to know who I am facing.
If you had to pick one or the other that you would want to play, would you rather face Mario or Phoenix Feather?
I think I will pick Mr. Mario because I think Mr. Mario is a better player, and I wanna play versus the best player. So that will be really challenging facing Mr. Mario.
All right, that's
But
cool.
It will be challenging facing Phoenix Feather too. He's pretty good too. But yeah, I think Mr. Mario is a bit better. So
Nice.
That's awesome.
yeah, really happy with that win. Oh my god, I was so stressed at the end. I really thought I would lost. And whoa.
It's your first season tournament bracket victory. Am
Yeah.
I correct?
Yeah,
Well,
I win.
congratulations.
I won a match on Challenge Cup. I don't know if that counts, but yeah, in top 32, that's my first win. That was my first race too. Yeah, really happy about it.
Nice, yeah. like, as the thing as well, like those nerves are always gonna be there, but you know, once you've got one down, you know, that's it. It gets at least a little bit easier from there.
Yeah, maybe we'll see. But yeah, I was really stressed at the start and at the end. Like from 30 minutes to 2 hours, it was okay, but when I was in go mode, I was shaking so hard. But yeah, I hope it will be better next time. I'm not sure about it, but we'll see, I guess.
Well, I can't wait to see your next matchup, whenever that may be. I think Mario and PF are playing in the next couple of days.
Yeah, I think they're
I remember
playing
correctly.
Thursday. I think it's Thursday.
They are playing on Tuesday night.
Oh, Tuesday,
US
damn
time
it.
zone.
Okay, so
Too
yeah,
bad.
in the next couple of days, they're
Yeah,
getting their match in. So you'll know your opponent in a couple of days, and that'll definitely be a fun match to watch when we get there.
yeah. Hope it will be a good match too.
They're all good matches in the brackets.
Yeah, all the players are really good, so always close.
Yeah, but with that, any final comments from anyone?
It's just Namaha moving down to loser's bracket. He's going to face the loser of Mr. Mario versus Phoenix Feather, and it's crazy to say. You mentioned this earlier. Like, one of those 3 players remaining is going to go 0-2, and that's frightening for how strong the bracket is this year.
For sure, definitely. Like, yeah, like I say, you could pick any 4 players in this bubble and easily have made. They could have easily all made top 10. So the one of them has to go 0-2 is just scary. But you've escaped that one, SeYsEy, at least with this win. So yeah, good luck going forward, and congrats again.
Thank you,
Yeah.
thank you,
Well-deserved victory.
thank you.
Yeah, to wrap this up, a huge shout out to all of our volunteers today. Our comms, Salty Sponge and Yoshikian. Salty is also another top 32 runner, so you can see him. When's your match?
I am the last winners bracket round 1 match on the 31st at 3 p.m. EST.
So yeah, follow the Salty Sponge. He streams a lot. Also follow Yoshikian. I believe you're doing your OTR league, right, Yoshi?
Yeah, I'm not playing so much as running that, but yeah, I stream God knows whatever I feel like on the day.
As well as huge shout out to our trackers. They're always the heroes behind the scene here. They keep everyone informed on what's going on in Seed. Next Door and Lazy, you two are amazing. And with that, let's look at the upcoming schedule. There's a lot on the plate today. Most of it's almost over, but we have the OCS Challenge 8 that's going on right now. We have a Wind Waker lower bracket quarterfinals of their spoiler log race later today, and we also have the Minish Cap weekly race. And then we get back to the season 4 matches tomorrow with Kevin versus Keizo and FMZ versus One Shot. And with that, I believe we're going to be rating ZSR 2, where the OCS tournament is taking place. So hopefully they're doing well and we can cheer them on. And we'll see everyone next time.